If golf courses consisted only of the fairway, it would have been too easy and boring. That's why sand bunkers, roughs and water hazards were invented. This young golfer participates in 20 to 25 tournaments a year, walks 20 to 30 kilometers a day and spends 10 hours on a golf course. Either the guard or the sunset makes him leave the golf course. He understands the rule of golf at the level of a professional player. You can't touch the sand. According to the rules, if you touch the sand, you get a one-stroke penalty. You are allowed a practice swing into the air. At tournaments, he has to play with athletes who are much older, but that does not bother the young golfer at all. Many adults can send the ball far, but they're considerably worse at putting. It's the opposite case with me. I'm a good putter. Golf is considered a very specific kind of sport due to its interesting history of origin, a unique atmosphere and a certain etiquette in playing the game. Originating in Scotland in the 14th century, today this sport is popular all over the world. According to various sources, there are 25 million golf players in the US alone. It is played by people of all ages. Gus Andreoni was considered the oldest amateur golf player. He continued playing and setting records despite being 103 years old. The hero of this episode is Artem Sokolov. He's only 12 years old, but he has already managed to surprise the golf community and represent Ukraine at international tournaments at a decent level. It was clear that he was going to become an athlete, basically, since his birth. He started engaging in sports at a very early age. Artem engaged in serious exercises that develop a person's coordination. It all started when he joined a sports club, with all the swimming, climbing and lots of exercises for kids. Artem was strong in his youth. He liked hanging on a crossbar for a long time and made good progress in swimming, which could have become the most important sport in his life, had he not found out about golf at the age of 7. The first time I tried playing golf was at a camp at the local golf club. My sister went there with me, but she was not really fond of it, and instead spent most of her time observing butterflies flying over the greenway. On the other hand, I got hooked on this sport. As soon as Artem picked up a club, it became obvious that he was very much into golf. Artem is an analyst in the soul, so he prefers the stroke play, and golf is a sport that makes you think, plan your moves, and analyze the layout. Initially, golf was just an interesting hobby for Artem, but it turned into a professional occupation fairly quickly. Today, Artem devotes a lot of time to golf. Together with his coach, who is a 4-time winner of the Ukrainian Cup and the absolute champion of Ukraine, RUSLAN HARKAVENKO, Artem Sokolov has significantly improved his scores over the past year. Speaking in golf terms, he has reduced his handicap index from 26 to 14. What is handicap? It is the skill level of the player. Speaking in simple terms, a player with a handicap of 36 is a novice, while a professional golfer has a 0 handicap. In golf, Artem has to compete not only with his peers but also with adult players. Artem won his first awards and prizes in adult golf tournaments when he was only 10 years old. While success in golf tournaments comes only in one way – a lot of training. We have a whole systematic training complex. In this respect, Artem achieved excellent results in a year of training. And now, in the height of the golf season, he is constantly playing in competitions in Ukraine and Poland. His results are very high. In Poland, Artem has already finished 2 tournaments out of 6, where he took the first and second places among his peers. This year, he has also fulfilled the standard at one of the qualifying world tournaments. For that, he received an invitation to participate in the European Junior Championship in Scotland. Nobody believed in him because kids who live in Florida or Spain play golf all year round, and the state supports them in a big way. We do not have such support, and we've lost some time, since kids start playing golf at the age of 5 or 6. For example, the champion of the US Open golf tournament, Tiger Woods, started playing when he was 2 or 3 years old. It's hard to achieve such results without the support of parents and the coach. Artem's father, Oleksandr, dedicates all his free time to his son's favorite hobby. With time, he started playing the game himself. This is the only kind of my sports hobbies, and I'm interested in a lot of things, which I started doing after Artem. Like most Ukrainians, I used to believe that golf is a game when old men with bursting wallets walk around and swing at balls, because they have nothing better to do. In reality, it is an incredibly exciting game and an entirely different world, and you can only experience this thrill when you pick up a club and make at least one successful stroke.
И это можно почувствовать только если ты взял клюшку и сделал хоть один удачный удар.
In addition to that, safety rules require the presence of adults on the greenway. Golf also has its dangers. One of them is the fact that it is played on vast territories. It's not like when your kid plays tennis and simply runs around the court. Golf in Kharkiv, about 70 hectares of land. Golf in Kiev, over 300 hectares of land. As a rule, golf courses are located in protected areas. Wild animals roam around there. A kid might get hit by a ball or get lost. There are also water obstacles, and the weather can change suddenly. If there's thunder and lightning, then you have to leave the greenway immediately and seek shelter in the main club building on the territory of the golf course. So adults have to watch after the kids in such cases. But Artem knows well what a golfer is supposed to do in various situations. If there's lightning, you have to mark your ball's position. For example, after you hit the ball, you have to go up to it, put a tee in the ground, take the ball and seek refuge somewhere nearby.
Вставляете, забираете мяч, на место мяча и прячетесь в ближайшее место.
If the ball is flying off somewhere, like on a different field or course, you have to yell "for." Or in cases when there are people near the hole, and you know you should not strike the ball that far, but you strike it and it flies right in their direction, you also must yell "for" to warn them that the ball is flying towards them.
Но у вас получается очень хороший удар, и он летит в них, надо тоже кричать "for".
Behind all the serious achievements of the young golfer, given that golf in Ukraine is not as developed as in other countries, long training sessions are held on a regular basis. Artem can train for long periods of time, which is an important trait, without which you won't succeed at golf tournaments. You can't just come to a course once, spend an hour there, and then go home. In addition to training here, he also spends a lot of time practicing all kinds of swings, and it brings him success in this sport. After each training session, Artem writes down the coach's comments and makes note of his mistakes in order to iron them out. The young athlete devotes all his free time to golf and continues practicing even despite the harshest weather conditions.
Мне приходилось играть в дождь.
I had to keep playing in the rain. Sometimes we were caught in a downpour and then came out from it as if from a swimming pool. I also had to play in dense fog, when you can't see the ball after 100 meters, so it was really hard to find it.
Когда, после 100 метров ты мяча просто не видишь. Было очень сложно искать мяч.
I remember when I realized that golf was a sport for Artem. He was 8 years old when we went to a course and it started raining heavily. I said, "Let's leave, Artem, it's raining." And he answered when he was soaking wet and trembling from cold with resentment. "It's golf, it's fine. There are only 3 holes left. We can't leave without finishing the course." So we finished those 3 holes and only then we left the course. Such training tempers players in all senses. As a professional golfer, Artem knows what to take into consideration when it's raining.
Мяч, когда он приземлится, он не будет катиться.
When the ball lands, it won't roll. It could get stuck, and if I hit it with a club that should send it rolling for 20 meters, it may not roll all the way to the hole. It's very slippery in the rain, and it's very difficult to stay upright during a swing.
Трудно устоять при ударе.
Golf players in Ukraine try to use the most of their time that the nature allows them. As for the times of the year, we train up to the point when the snow falls. When it snows, there are two options. Either we switch to a golf simulator, so we can continue training in winter, or we sit on a plane and fly to some place where it's warm and the weather is more conducive for playing golf.
А когда зима,
In the winter, I spend more time on physical training and a simulator.
физподготовкой и на симуляторе.
We bought a rug for our country house and a simple golf simulator that reads his swings, the club position and speed of the ball. That's very interesting because we have downloaded all the golf courses of the world to the simulator, so virtually we can play on any of them. It's very interesting because after a swing we can see the ball fly across those landscapes, and in our souls we're there on the spot. Also in winter, Artem learns the rules, as there are over 200 pages of rules in golf that must be known to play well. They are very complex, as they describe every situation, and on the golf course, if you interpret the rules the wrong way and don't add all the penalties to your score, you will most definitely be disqualified. Golf is also interesting because it is possibly the only sport where the player adds their own penalties. The most important part of golf etiquette is that during a tournament there are no judges on the course. The players are their own judges. Situations when the balls fly in all directions are frequent, but nobody oversees us. We can move the ball, fix its position, but golf players don't do that. We play honestly, and if something happens, like accidentally touching the ball, the player then lets his flight partners know of that and adds a one strong penalty to their score.
Пока я играл в кустах, там произошла вот такая ситуация. Я штрафую себя на 1 удар.
Golfers also have one belief.
Есть
There's a god of golf, old par, and if you lie about something or are dishonest in any other way, it'll come back to bite you sooner or later.
тебе все равно это накажется.
Golf is a game of real gentlemen. It shapes your character. Good manners are important in golf. Honesty and respect for the opponent are above all, but the ability to accept one's defeat is also a highly valued principle. We learn to lose. Learning how to lose is very difficult. He is respected in the golf community as an honest player, as a player who knows golf etiquette, as a thoughtful, resilient, and astute player. I learn from him, he learns from me, and we both learn to lose as well.
Я учусь у него, он учится у меня, и мы учимся проигрывать тоже.
Golf also improves your health. Scientists from the University of Edinburgh came to the conclusion that golf prolongs life by at least 5 years and helps prevent up to 40 chronic diseases.
2 года у нас нет простуд.
We haven't had any colds for 2 years straight, and that's while we play in any weather, spend many hours doing that, and play from April to late November, when lakes are starting to freeze over. We play when it rains and when it's cold, and we have become tougher.
Во время турниров мне
I have to walk a lot
приходится
during
очень
tournaments.
много,
The last time I made 26,000 steps in a day,
Последний раз мы
and there are
засекли,
1 day,
я
3 day, and 4 day
прошел
tournaments.
26 000 шагов за день. И турниры бывают однодневные, двухдневные, 3- и 4-дневные.
When I was 10 to 11 years old, we had already been making 1,000 steps a year, walking 1,000 kilometers a year, and now the tournaments have become bigger and more difficult.
Сейчас турниры стали больше и сложнее.
But like in any other sport, there's also the other side of the coin. We have to make sure the back is straight, that there are no wrist injuries and no knee injuries. That is, we have to take care of the kid, make him to reverse exercises, that is, do swings in the opposite direction. He also has to swim and have massages in order to make the back stronger. But Artem tries not to focus exclusively on golf. He also plays tennis, rides a bike, does yoga, and has tried jumping with a parachute. Naturally, he dreams of associating his life with golf. However, Artem has one more passion.
Ему безумно нравится
He
математика.
really likes mathematics,
поэтому
and
параллельно
he's also
он
studying at a
учится в
computer academy. He wants to become a software developer, a financier, or an expert in something financial or math related, and I think that he will succeed. In any case, golf opens the gates to many universities. Children who play golf well go to universities, receive scholarships, and play for those universities.
Дети, играющие хорошо в гольф, поступают в университеты, получают стипендию, играют за университеты.
Thanks to Artem, all members of his family live in the golf style today, and it seems that they only approve of continuing this tradition. Bold and talented, courageous and active, independent and happy. They are our future. They're the future of Ukraine.